of the 2011 NBA playoffs here in downtown Los Angeles, home of the two-time defending champion Lakers. A sellout crowd at the Staples Center as the LA Lakers will open up their playoffs against the New Orleans Hornets, a team they swept in their 4 games during the regular season. This is just the second game of the Western Conference playoffs. Yesterday had one as Dallas with an impressive victory defeating the Portland Trail Blazers. And good afternoon, everyone. Along with Mark Jackson and Jeff Van Gundy, Mike Breen on hand, Lisa Salters with us as well, as the Lakers begin their quest for a three-peat. And during the regular season, it was the usual little bit of drama for them, some ups and downs, but they are still in many eyes the team to beat. And that'll be the case as long as Kobe Bryant, Jeff, continues to play at an unbelievable level. He's much healthier going into the playoffs this year than last year. He played all 82 games, and he is desperate for that 6th championship.
And he's had a remarkable year. Again, he could make a case for being the MVP. Over 25 points a game, 45% shooting. The numbers are still there, but it's the drive, the determination to lead, the 82 games, and the will to win that separates him. Meanwhile,
they'll start off against the New Orleans Hornets team that had a terrific year under rookie head coach Monty Williams, but they have their hands full. Not a lot of people picking them to even win a game in this series. For them to be competitive, Mark, Chris Paul, one of the premier players in the game, has to be extraordinary.
Well, no question about it. When you're talking about the Lakers' weaknesses, transition defense and defending the pick and roll, it's an ideal situation for Chris Paul. You take a look at his numbers across the board versus the Lakers, spectacular numbers, and it's because of his strength, his ability to make plays, and I expect him to be spectacular in this series.
Let's take a look at our starting lineups, brought to you by Taco Bell. The Hornets, the 7th seed, 46 and 36. They're without their leading scorer, David West, who's out with a knee injury. So Carl Landry gets to start in his place. Emeka Okafor is going to have a big series as well against this enormous Laker front line. 4 of the 5 starters for the Lakers started every game this season with the exception of Andrew Bynum. Bynum, of course, has had his injury problems. Hyperextended it last week, but he is set to go. Had a couple of good practices and is ready here in the starting lineup. Spanish language version of today's game presented by ESPN Deportes. Use the SAP button on your television. So some fun games yesterday to kick off the playoffs. We hope to have some more here today and another full day of playoff action. Bynum will jump against Okafor. The Lakers finished last year with the very same regular season record, 57 and 25. And they win the opening tip. Fisher and Paul one matchup. Landry and Gasol. Bynum and Okafor. Artest the first shot of the afternoon. And Trevor Ariza, the former Laker, grabs the rebound. All right, Jeff, you've watched New Orleans throughout the course of the season. What's this team's strength?
Well, Chris Paul, pick and roll game. They lost a little bit as Bellinelli comes off the stagger. They lost a little bit with David West, who's a very good pick and pop player. But Carl Landry can get you points. He's also a very good rebounder. Offensive rebounder. What he's not is a good defensive rebounder, and that's where West gave them a good advantage.
Kobe Bryant misses his first shot trying to draw the foul. Paul comes the other way. There's Landry. Landry clear path and throws it down. Landry helped give the Lakers fits a couple of years ago when he was with Houston. And they extended him to 7 games in the NBA playoffs back in 09.
You like what the Hornets are doing, picking up full court, trying to extend the basketball game, put pressure on the Lakers defensively and also offensively running with the basketball.
Shot clock down to 5. Nice entry into Bynum. Bynum misfires, but draws the foul. As we say hello for the first time this afternoon to Lisa Salters. Hey, Lisa.
Hey, Mike. Well, as you know, Lakers fans have been panicking over the last couple of days, worrying about the health of Andrew Bynum. Apparently, no need to fret. I talked to Andrew a couple of hours ago after he got off the floor after his pregame workout, and I said, Andrew, how's the knee? And he just kind of looked at me and said, this is the healthiest that I have been ever at the start of a playoffs. And I said, what do you mean? What about the injury from earlier this week? And he said, that's just a bone bruise. I've had many of those before. There's absolutely no swelling, a little bit of pain, but it's really no big deal. Mike?
Well, you just have to be happy for Bynum. Bynum's worked so hard to get himself back into shape. He's had a monster second half on the boards and defensively. And a little bit of shame just to have him hurt again, Mark.
A sigh of relief for Lakerland when you talk about his presence on both ends of the floor. Really completes them as a basketball team and certainly gives them a legitimate chance to three-peat. But without him, it'd be a different story.
What a mark he makes on the defensive end. And that's when they won 17 of 18 to start after the All-Star break, as Trevor Ariza able to knock it down. Meanwhile, New Orleans, according to Chris Paul, talked to Monty Williams, everybody, their backbone is their defense. They're not a team that pushes the tempo, although they might push the tempo a bit in this series, Mark.
Well, they certainly will. It gives them the best opportunity to beat the Lakers, forcing the issue on the offensive end. Spectacular move by Bryant, not able to finish it, but they've got to play at a different pace than they've played all season long.
Here's Landry. Shooting over Gasol. Landry can score, as Jeff mentioned. And the Hornets with a quick 4-point lead.
And the great thing is, what I'm talking about is, during the course of the season, it was a slower pace. As Bryant makes this one, it was a slower pace. It was a grind. They trusted their half-court execution and then their defense. Now to beat the Lakers, they've got to force the issue and look to push.
Oh, nice move inside.
And that's the second time Emeka Okafor has cleared out the shot-blocking presence of Bynum. That time on the drive by Paul, and earlier on the fast break run out by Carl Landry.
Bynum double team, and an offensive foul called on Andrew Bynum. Got a little frustrated with the contact, and he picks up his first personal. Paul setting it up. Paul, another great year. First in steals, fourth in assists. Gasol may have got a piece of that one. And here comes Artest the other way. Bellinelli guarding Artest. A complete mismatch up as Bryant trying to get between. Bryant forcing it a bit early, and it's going to be Hornets ball. New Orleans, a good, talented defensive team, play very well collectively as a unit. Monty Williams says that's been the key. Their help defense, their overall commitment to defense, one of the reasons they won 46 games. Bellinelli gets it to go, and it's a 6-point lead.
And you just don't want to say it's about picking up the pace. It's also playing with force. And right now, the Hornets are the more physical team on both ends of the floor. That's got to be consistent if they want to give themselves a chance.
Derek Fisher back in the postseason again. As Gasol too strong on that. Bellinelli helping out on the boards.
You think about it, the only team that was a visiting team yesterday that didn't lead after one was Atlanta. Atlanta was down 2 to Orlando, but all the other teams came out today. Memphis came out and got ahead. This is how you give yourself a chance. Get off to a good start, play from ahead, and build some good habits.
They've got an early 8-point lead that's quickly cut to 6 as Kobe Bryant gets his second field goal. Even Bryant was talking about the Lakers down the stretch. He said it's a weird team. Their inconsistency blocked by Bynum. There's the defensive presence of the 7-footer. Fisher, the jump shot. Ariza deflects it. Bellinelli tries to save it right to Artest. Bynum, nice high catch and finish.
It shows you the length of Bynum also on that play, but more importantly on the defensive play. He's beaten by Chris Paul, but the length and the ability to block shots got him back into the picture.
Bryant on Ariza, they'll guard each other. He used to do it in practice quite a bit. Ariza played a couple of years here in the Lakers with the Lakers, including the 2009 championship. Fisher fires away. Derek Fisher playing in his 200th playoff game. That's actually 43 more than all the Hornets combined. Talk about a playoff veteran with so many big shots over the years, and he's going for yet another championship. He's got his 5 rings. Ariza the drive.
The size in the half court is almost overwhelming when you penetrate the ball all the way to the basket.
Several fakes from Bryant. Shot off the mark. Paul the rebound. Paul, an excellent rebounding point guard, especially for his size. 4 a game. Pretty move, just couldn't finish. Fisher for three. And the Lakers have their first lead. 9 straight points, and they quickly overcome an 8-point deficit, and that quickly brings Monty Williams off the bench to call a timeout.
Just a good read offensively, understanding that Chris Paul was trailing the play. Derek Fisher spots up and waits. How about Andrew Bynum? Beating the penetration, but does not give up on the play. On the offensive end, points to the sky, go get it. Keep it high and finish. Lakers on a 9-0 run. Lead this ball game by 1.
By Monty Williams, his first year as a head coach. Last 5 years was an assistant with Portland. He has preached defense from day one, as he's gotten his opportunity to be the head man, and they have responded. It has been their calling card all season long. It's helped them deal with injuries, ups and downs, the sale of the team to the NBA, all sorts of things. They just keep defending hard. You see the huge improvement. Williams is a big part of that. Monty Williams is one of the youngest coaches, as he was a first-round pick in '94. The Knicks selected him. Played for 9 years in the NBA for 5 different teams. And Jeff, you were an assistant on the Knicks when he came into the NBA. What do you remember from him?
He came in the same year as Charlie Ward did. They had a great friendship. And Monty, at that time, had a heart issue that made our trainer, Mike Saunders, have to carry a defibrillator around. And he overcame a whole lot just to be on an NBA roster. And then he figured out his role in the NBA. He had a long career, very intelligent, hardworking, and most importantly, he's a terrific person.
Learned a lot when he was on the coaching staff in San Antonio as well. So he's trying to keep a routine here in his first playoff, going up against the most experienced playoff winner in the history of the game in Phil Jackson. Bynum. And a foul call on Okafor. Okafor thought he had the charge. That one was close. Instead, Okafor will pick up his second, and that's huge for New Orleans.
Well, Okafor's holding his ground well. That is a offensive foul to me. The guy is allowed to hold his defensive position, and you cannot bull your way through that.
So Okafor will sit with the 2 fouls, bringing in backup center Aaron Gray.
I like Aaron Gray. Aaron Gray has the body strength and the offensive game to play well. Now, his conditioning has never been good enough to be a major minute player, but as a backup center, you could do a lot worse.
First 3 years with Chicago, second-round pick out of Pittsburgh, now in his first year in New Orleans.
And like what Derek Fisher did, pick up Chris Paul, the length of the floor, deny him. Now you force Bellinelli to run the offense.
Ariza calling for the ball. Different role for Ariza with this team. Oh, tried to throw it down, and he drew the foul. Ariza had a different role when he was a champion with the Lakers, but an important role. He was a defender, a three-point shooter, a little more offensive-minded since he's left L.A.
You can tell he's excited about playing with his former team. On a mission, attacks the basket. He understands Andrew Bynum's length and size. The way to go at that is go to the body. Does it and gets the contact.
Well, Bynum picks up his second foul. He's hot about the call. Well, Odom comes in.
I think we should just stop showing the Laker bench.
Well, Bynum did not say anything. That big stories this week is Kobe Bryant was fined $100,000 by the NBA for when he was on the bench after a particular technical foul, upset for an anti-gay slur. Bryant apologized the following day. Some people didn't think the apology was good enough, so a couple of days later came back and went in more depth in terms of his apology. This was after he got the fine as well, and now has vowed to work with some groups to help bring about more awareness on how certain words just shouldn't be used, whether on the bench or anywhere. As Lamar Odom misfires.
You better believe there's still some people upset in the second apology. The bottom line, he handled it well, owned up to his responsibility, and I think $100,000 is a lot of money to fine somebody.
Paul gets it to go, ties the game back up at 14. Let's check in with Lisa Salters.
Hey, Michael, I talked to Kobe Bryant about this during the layup line, and he says, you know, obviously, even though I didn't mean it that way, I've since learned what that word still means to a lot of people. And he says, you know what, I went online myself, and I did my own research, and I saw and I read about kids who are committing suicide because of being teased for who they are. And he says, you know what, I don't play that. He said, I used to beat up a lot of kids, even in high school, who used to tease my friends because they were gay or because they were black or because they were Jewish or because they were yellow or because they were whatever. And he says, for people who don't think my apology is sincere, they don't know me. And this isn't over for me. He said, I really do plan to do more. What I said was ignorant, and I really didn't realize what I was saying. He says, but now that I do and I realize how it affects people, I really plan to do more and to help with the awareness. Mike?
Well, Lisa, if something as he called as ignorant can turn into something positive, then that's a great way for this thing to end or to continue, as you said. 2-point Hornets lead. Bryant drives in, blocked by Gray. Are they going to call a goaltend? There is a foul. Greg Willard's going to check with Danny Crawford.
It actually should have been a goaltender because the ball looked like it went off the backboard prior to Gray blocking.
So they do call it a goaltend.
I'd like to see another angle of that. Thank you, Mr. Tim Corrigan, our producer. And that's the right call.
They're right on the money.
How come you didn't just take my word for it?
Because if you say it, my first thing to think is, that's probably wrong.
Bryant completes the three-point play, and the Lakers back up by 1. The Lakers playing the Hornets because they got a victory on the final game of the regular season, and it wasn't your average victory. They were on the verge of falling to the 3rd seed and playing Portland in the first round, a much more difficult matchup with all due respect to New Orleans. As Bellinelli lines up and nails the three-pointer. But the Lakers, after blowing a 20-point fourth-quarter lead in Sacramento on their final game, Kobe Bryant had to hit a 3 in the final seconds to force the overtime. It just shows you, if he misses that, then all of a sudden they're playing Portland in the first round. It's amazing how one shot can make all the difference.
No question, and that was so poorly defended by Sacramento. Dallas was hoping that to get New Orleans, because it's not because New Orleans isn't a good team. It's just when you're missing your leading scorer, that's a big hole to try to fill in a series.
Nice defense from Bellinelli. Landry comes up with it. Again, David West, their leading scorer, out with a torn ACL. Missed the last 10 games. Now they played okay without him, 5-5, but to go against the Lakers in a series, they're behind the 8 ball already. West averaged 19 a game. As Phil Jackson will call his timeout. New Orleans, though, hanging tough here in the first period.
New Orleans game plan offensively, pick and roll, pick and roll, pick and roll. Get Chris Paul into the middle of the paint and then find the three-point shooters. Hornets up 2.
ESPN's presentation of the NBA playoffs on ABC. Brought to you by the new 2012 Mustang, a whole new breed of car. And Buffalo Wild Wings, wings, beers, sports.
Game 1 from the Staples Center. As the Hornets lead the Lakers by 2. New Orleans coached by rookie head coach Monty Williams says it's not always fun being a head coach. A lot easier when you have a great player like Chris Paul.
When you have a coach on the floor, he covers up your mistakes. You know, I had the opportunity to play with Patrick Ewing and David Robinson and Tim Duncan. Those guys cover up your mistakes. You know, a guy like me who is just a solid player, you know, I wasn't a guy who carried a team, but if I made a mistake, I knew David and Tim would be back there to cover it up on defense, and Chris does that for us.
Well, he's been doing it ever since he's come into the NBA. And Phil Jackson calling him a great floor general. He says to keep him, he can play at any pace. He can play slow down. He can play when they speed up the tempo. He's one of those players that rises come playoff time. Hasn't been an easy year for him. Remember last year, about 14 months ago, he had the knee surgery. There were times this year that they thought he's lost some of his explosiveness. and talk about where he's going to go when he's going to be a free agent after this year. Did not play great down the stretch, nor did the team. They lost their last 3 games of the regular season badly. But he is a special player, Mark. When you watch him as a point guard, what really stands out?
It reminds me a lot of Isaiah Thomas. So the ability to score, the ability to make plays, ISO, pick and roll, great leadership, and tough as nails.
Bellinelli able to hit the 3-pointer, and New Orleans back up by 4. Marco Bellinelli, another one in his first year with New Orleans, a former draft pick of Golden State. First couple of years with them, then 1 year in Toronto. And a good shooter from Italy.
And a very good acquisition by first-year GM Del Demps.
Barnes in. Too strong. Gasol tips it, but right to Paul. Paul already with 6 assists here in this first period. Nice entry pass to Gray, and the finish. Make that 7 assists for Chris Paul. And New Orleans up by 6. A little bit anxious. Nice to see Barnes back on. He missed the last 2 games of the regular season. He's been bothered by a sore right knee. Bryant getting inside. Nice up and under for Kobe Bryant. Final minute, first quarter. Shannon Brown, good size now on Paul. Brown, another Laker, played all 82 this year. Gray. Nice shot from Aaron Gray. That's what you talked about before, Jeff.
He can score the ball. You know, he has mobility issues. He has defensive issues. But offensively, he's a good player.
He's come off the bench with Okafor picking up the 2 quick fouls. He's played well. Nice dish, and Gasol the finish. Kobe Bryant, excellent find.
Yeah, Trevor Reeves, you got to do a better job of containing Kobe Bryant. Getting by you too easy. Keep him in front and live with contesting the jump shot.
Shot clock and game clock nearly identical. Lakers do have a foul to give here. Paul poked away by Barnes. Tried to force it in there. Final seconds. Brown ahead of the pack. Lays it in at the buzzer. Great pass from Gasol after Matt Barnes made the defensive play. And the first turnover of the period for New Orleans turns into a bucket at the buzzer for the Lakers. Nice lead pass from Pau Gasol. So a number of good passes here in this opening period, many of them from Chris Paul, the all-star point guard with 8 assists in the first 12 minutes. First quarter complete. Hornets by 2.
Welcome back to Los Angeles. Monty.
By 2 moments ago, Lisa Salters with Monty Williams.
Monty, you lost an early lead, but were able to get it back, now back up by 2. What were you able to get back to doing well again?
Well, we wanted to attack the basket. I thought we shot too many jump shots in that in-between stage. We want to extend our defense a little bit. For us, it's all about stops and energy. Our guys are playing well right now, but we have to sustain.
Obviously, they have a size advantage over you guys. How do you think you matched up in that first quarter?
Well, we have to be fundamentally sound against size. You got to be faster, but you have to do things with a purpose. You can't overcome size. We just have to play better, play with more purpose, and we'll be okay.
All right, thanks for your time. Mike?
All right, Lisa, he's got some of his bench in there. Jason Smith has come on, DJ Benga, Jarrett Jack, along with Ariza and Chris Paul. Meanwhile, Trey Johnson, that's him with the ball, who played just 1 game, the last game of the regular season after being called up from the D-League. He's getting some time here in the playoffs. Bynum puts it up, shot short. Jason Smith the rebound. Bill Jackson likes his size and athleticism, Johnson. He played briefly a couple of years ago in the NBA with Cleveland. But mostly it's been D-League and overseas. Jack kicks it out to Ariza. Shot clock at 6. Ariza, wide open 3. Smith trying to keep it alive, the right to Johnson. Shannon Brown. Paul will walk it up. Paul, 8 assists in the first quarter. NBA playoff record for most assists in a quarter is 11. So be shy of that, but still very impressive. John Stockton had 11 in one period back in '94 in the postseason.
Right now playing like a great quarterback, controlling everything about this game for the Hornets on the offensive end. Picking and choosing and making the right decision.
And I love how this Hornets front line is playing. They're getting great minutes from Banga, Smith, Gray. I mean, every one of them is contributing in their own way. Not overly skilled, but physical and big.
Ariza slices in, trying to get it to Benga. Shot clock at 7. DJ Benga, another former Laker, knocks it down, and it's back up to 8, equaling the largest lead of the first half. Hornets again showing the reason why they won during the regular season. 46 games. They're a scrappy, hard-working defensive team. It's kind of much like we saw Philadelphia yesterday, guys. They started off well, same type of team. Bynum a drive, little short. Odom pushed off to get the rebound, so a loose ball foul on Lamar Odom.
And you compare it to Philadelphia as we take a look at Phil Jackson. The difference is when you talk about the Hornets, they have somebody at the end of the game that they can put the ball in his hands and trust that a quality look will come out of it. Chris Paul will get a look for himself or for his teammates in pick and roll situations.
Now, how does New Orleans play with him on the bench? That's critical. Willie Green comes in. Jarrett Jack will take over the point guard duties.
And Coach, I'm sure you're thinking the same thing. If I'm Monty Williams, Chris Paul's on a short leash as far as being on that sideline, and it's going to be dictated by how well the backup guys play, how long I can keep them over there and keep them fresh.
Absolutely.
Paul cheering on.
Oh, not that call again. Please, can we get rid of this call? To just dive into somebody because he has his hand extended and call it a foul. Oh, this interpretation has just got to be, that's not a shot attempt. That's garbage, as the great Marv Albert would say.
And they call 3 shots on it. Couldn't agree more on it.
I disagree with you guys.
Well, go ahead then.
I think that's a high IQ play.
It's both high IQ and a horrible call. No, not a horrible call by the way the officials are told to call it. A horrible interpretation that this Kevin Durant swing it under anytime a guy's arm's extended, that's not even a shot attempt.
If I can catch you with your hand in the cookie jar, then you're caught and deal with it.
That's not even in the cookie jar. That's not even in the bread basket.
No, it's no question it's a smart play.
It could be smart and stupid at the same time. A smart play and a stupid interpretation of the rule.
Here's Johnson. Draws the foul. And he'll get to the basket and shoot 2. So Trey Johnson getting an opportunity to play playoff basketball for the LA Lakers, but they trail by 9.
Thanks for watching ESPN on ABC, home of the NBA Finals.
Long playoff run. Unlikely playoff performer for the Lakers is here. They just called him up, played the last game of the regular season. He's 27 years old. He played his college ball at Jackson State. His senior year, he averaged 27 a game, second in the nation. But he wasn't drafted. Went to camp with the Hornets back in '07, was cut, so the odyssey began. D-League, 4 years of it. France, Italy, Serbia, bouncing around. Again, had a cup of coffee with Cleveland in the '08-09 season. And we have an offensive foul. But he got a chance, played great in the D-League, was second in scoring this year in the D-League, solidly built, 6'5", 215. He's also drafted by the Kansas City Royals, was a pitcher, and apparently an outstanding one.
And wearing Norm Nixon's number 10. How about that? But I tell you what, if he's good enough to play in Game 1 of the NBA playoffs, he's good enough to be in the NBA.
And I love those stories of perseverance. Just to be able to stick with the D-League lifestyle, paid very little, but sticking with your love of the game.
Open shot, knocks it down. And not just 1 year, there's Norm Nixon, but 4 years in the D-League. You have to love the game to continue and follow all over the world to try and get your dream of playing in the NBA.
And the Hornets have a similar story, although he's not playing right now, in Patrick Ewing Jr.
Right.
Sticking in the D-League, earning his way here after many, ups and downs of being traded for and cut. Very happy for him in his first playoff game as well.
Johnson drives, try to jam it in there, gets to Bynum. Bynum, hard foul. DJ Benga will put Bynum on the line.
When you look at guys like Trey Johnson, Patrick Ewing Jr., here's the thing that people don't understand. Their mentality, their approach, their professionalism involved, and it's all about team. Those guys will keep a job and be able to sustain themselves for a long time with their mentalities and their approach.
And the hunger that it took them to get there. They play with that hunger when they get to the NBA. Landry comes in. Jason Smith will sit down. And Patrick Ewing had chances with a number of teams, but didn't get the opportunity until called up on a 10-day contract late in the season with New Orleans, and finally got his first taste of the NBA. He played very well in a couple of training camps, was the last player cut, played very well in the D-League.
I mean, just little things. We just saw a guy come out and he stood up and gave him that. His dad never stood up and gave me that when he was sitting on the sideline.
Because he was never sitting on the sideline, that's why. And rightfully so.
Bellinelli back for Landry. Jared Jack. Bellinelli way downtown. And Bynum another rebound. Almost 5 minutes gone by here in the second. Hornets by 7. Again, they lost all 4 games to the Lakers as Johnson misses that during the regular season. In fact, their largest lead in any game of those 4 was just 4 points. Here they've already had a 9-point lead. Willie Green in and out. Benga tips it, and it's Laker ball. Want to know how Kobe performs when Powell is on the floor versus when he's not? Dig into NBA stats like never before with NBA Stats Cube only on NBA.com.
Let me give you a clue how he performs with them on the floor. Pretty darn well. And with Joe Smith, Theo Ratliff, Matt Barnes, and the rest of the crew, Kobe Bryant performs pretty well. Go to NBA stats for that as well.
Bryant gets inside, double clutch. Oh, beautiful shot. Phil Jackson was starting before the game, and Jackson hasn't been strolling down memory lane much, even though this, as he has said, is his final year. But coaching Kobe Bryant says one thing he learned very early is Jared Jack knocks it down. Is that Bryant, from the first year he coached him in LA in the playoffs, how he rises to the occasion. And Jackson will call a timeout. He's going for another three-peat, which would be his 4th three-peat. Just absolutely amazing as Phil Jackson and the Lakers try to win their 3rd straight title. Bryant, of course, looking for his 6th championship. Kobe Bryant so far 11 points and 3 assists. They lead by 7 and shooting 55% from the field. Chris Paul, the coach on the floor, sometimes the coach on the sidelines as well. Mark, he's doing it all.
Well, that's what you love of your coach. Great leaders. You don't have to coach all the time. You can trust their voice to control the basketball game, the locker room, and the sidelines, and certainly in between the lines. Chris Paul having his way, understanding I've got to be aggressive, getting the basketball, making plays for other guys, but he also has to put pressure on the Laker defense by scoring himself. Well, he's with an edge, extremely tough, and that approach, that mentality is contagious.
You talk about the playing with the edge. You talk to Chris Paul. He is one of the most charming, nicest players in the NBA. As good a guy as they come. As Kobe Bryant knocks it down and a foul. But Chris Paul on the court, he has a real edge to him.
He's nasty. He's a ruthless competitor, which I like, which you need.
Speaking of.
And then that's just great balance on the jump shot. Good follow through the contact. chance for a three-point play.
Mark, how about speaking of ruthless competitors, what Monty Williams said about Kobe Bryant before the game? He said he has no basketball humanity. He just wants to kill you.
I thought that was a great line and a truth teller, Monty Williams, because that's Kobe Bryant's mentality on the floor.
Bellinelli, left-handed, flips it up and in. Nice shot from Bellinelli, who had his best year in the NBA so far, both scoring, rebounding. He had a chance to play a lot of minutes. He's played well.
And that's how you go at Artest. You get him on the move and you catch and go. As he knocks in a two-point shot, you catch and go against Artest instead of letting Artest set his feet on you.
Artest's first field goal. Lakers back within 4. They've trailed by as many as 9. Jared Jack, nice feed, and Okafor the finish. Pretty pass from Jared Jack.
You know, it's awfully tough to referee Derek Fisher in pick-and-roll situations because he will flop. You look like it's an illegal screen. I like the way the referees are not calling and not buying into it.
I couldn't agree with you more. Those are hard calls not to make because you're looking at it, and he's such a good actor that you're naturally going to bite.
Odom misses Willie Green, another tough player. Good veteran off the bench, kicks it out Bellinelli. Landry goes right at Lamar Odom. And comes up a bit short. Gasol the rebound. Gasol's been quiet offensively, just 2 points so far. Lamar Odom down the lane. And a foul, they say Okafor was in the restricted area. He's saying he didn't move. That's going to be his 3rd foul. A frustrated Emeka Okafor.
And this is the problem. When you have to double team, it gives guys like Odom the ability to catch and go. He clearly has a foot in the restricted area. That's a foul. But I like how Emeka Okafor has brought a physical presence to the game.
So Odom to the line. Odom having a great season this year. Many think he'll be the 6th-man winner when that's announced later in the postseason. NBA playoffs continue on ESPN and ESPN2 Friday night, first at 7 Eastern. Paul Pierce and the Celtics go up against Carmelo Anthony and the Knicks at Madison Square Garden. And then at 8 Eastern on ESPN2, Dwight Howard and the Magic against Joe Johnson and the Hawks. And at 9:30 Eastern on ESPN, Lakers and Hornets. Game 3 of that series. The NBA playoffs on ESPN and ESPN2. Jack comes out of the pack. 5-point New Orleans lead. Jack, nice feed to Gray. Stripped but fouled by Fisher.
That's why if I'm Coach Monty Williams, I'm telling Emeka Okafor and all my big guys, don't you worry about foul trouble. Don't worry about how many personal fouls you have. Continue to give me great minutes by committee, and we will get it done. The way that the bigs of the Hornets are playing, they're setting the tone for this game.
Very upset with himself after missing the free throw.
But you can't teach this. Look at the energy and effort running down the middle of the floor, catches it. But it's because of he put himself in position to draw that contact.
Is that running the floor or lumbering down the floor? I'm going to go with lumber, but he's got great hands. You know, very few bigs can run, lumber, catch, and then finish. And the Hornets are in the zone.
He's a horrible free throw shooter. Right now, the Hornets, even with the lead, they're 1 of 7 from the line. They should be up by more as Pau Gasol can't get it to go. Ariza, quick outlet. And the Hornets have really tried to pick up the tempo. Lakers have as great a defensive team they are in the half court. They're not as good in transition. Chris Paul back in with Gray, Landry, Jack, and Ariza. Landry on the drive and finish. Wow, Landry, strong move, and it's back up to 7. And a little smattering of boos.
I like the play by Landry. Rather than taking a jump shot, he put the pressure on Gasol and finish.
The NBA steals leader gets it. Back pass for Jack, and Jack puts it in.
And again, that was their 2nd possession of zone. Got another turnover.
Ball poked away from behind by Paul. And Bynum right there to clean up Gasol's miss. Chris Paul has been outstanding at both ends of the floor. Landry's quickness giving the Lakers front line some problems as Pau Gasol picks up his first.
Shows you the different play that Landry is to David West. David West, outstanding pick and roll guy, pick and pop, outstanding mid-range jump shooter. Carl Landry is looking to catch and put pressure on the D.
Paul misses that one. Landry, who they acquired just back in February from Sacramento, he's become much more important with David West out with a knee injury. Artest spots up, in and out, and Gray the rebound. Just over 2.5 remaining in a surprising first half. Landry calling for it. Look at him calling for it against the 7-foot Gasol. Drives right into Fisher. Another beautiful entry pass, finish, and the foul. Chris Paul threw a bullet as they swung it weak side and a chance for a three-point play. And the Staples Center's been quiet with the exception of some boos.
You want to talk about playmaking and threading the needle? How about this one-hand bullet pass by CP3? Getting it done. That's how you run the quarterback position. 10 dimes in this first half.
ESPN's presentation of the NBA playoffs on ABC. Brought to you by Chevrolet and their award-winning cars, trucks, and crossovers. The new film Thor in theaters Friday, May 6th, rated PG-13. And Applebee's. Applebee's is jazzing up the 2 for $20 menu with the all-new flavors of Bourbon Street.
Clinic here in this opening half. His team up by 9 at the Staples Center in Game 1.
The great passers see the play before the play is there. He already, when he caught it, he saw Aaron, and without touching it with his other hand, rifled it into him. Great duck in by Gray. Great catch by Gray, but it's the vision that makes Drew Brees envious in New Orleans as he's watching this game.
Well, again, this New Orleans team, they came in the least experienced team of all 16 playoff teams, and this was the worst possible matchup. The other 6 West playoff teams, they beat San Antonio twice, Dallas twice, Denver twice, Memphis twice, Portland 3 times, with the Lakers 0-4, yet they have this terrific lead as Artest fouled as he got the offensive rebound. A 10-point lead for New Orleans as we listen to Monty Williams in the huddle.
Look, we got to close this half out, okay? And this is where they make those runs in the past games. These last 2 minutes, we got to close it out.
Now, that's a great message to your team, because a lot of times you look at the end of the game and you think you lost the game at the end, when it's really closing out quarters. That's crucial.
His message to the team before the series, and Williams is a spiritual man. He said that he got it right from the Bible. This is a time to be very strong and courageous. Knowing they were huge underdogs, that's the message he gave his team. Boy, they are playing strong basketball here in the first half. 2 minutes remaining, and it's the Hornets up by 8. Paul is running the show out there. Ariza hangs on to the pivot foot. Oh, nice left hand from Trevor Ariza, and it's back to 10. It's very quiet in here. Bryant out to Fisher, extra pass, Artest. Pau Gasol. Gasol just can't get going right now offensively. Knocked out of bounds, last touch by the Hornets.
Well, it's mostly because Pau Gasol has been on the perimeter. He has not been in the low post where he's virtually unguardable.
Bryant trying to draw the ball on that play again. Offensive foul call as Artest is whistled. First foul on Artest.
And that's a tough matchup for Bellinelli. He's just overpowered. That's a flop.
The one thing I will say about Bellinelli, watching him last year, this is the Lakers Golden State game, he competed. Defense is not his strong point, but he's not going to give up anything.
Nice pass again. Ariza tried to finish. And a foul on the first attempt. Another beautiful pass from Chris Paul. And Trevor Ariza to the line. Coming up at halftime, Stuart Scott, Magic Johnson, John Barry, Michael Wilbon, the T-Mobile halftime report. We'll talk about the Grizzlies' victory in Game 1 in San Antonio and some reaction from this surprise so far.
And what a big three by Shane Battier. No one deserves success more than that guy. Consummate professional.
He was an acquisition during the season from Houston, loved it in Houston, and then gets traded to Memphis. That wasn't an easy thing for him, too. His wife expecting a baby. She's back in Houston. He's playing in Memphis.
Exactly, and give Chris Wallace, the GM of the Grizzlies, credit for bringing back a playoff experienced veteran who you know is going to give you your very best. And really, that really helped them overcome the loss of Rudy Gay.
Gasol fouled. You know, speaking of Chris Wallace, he took a lot of heat for the Pau Gasol trade, but he has done an excellent job building that team back up.
Well, you can't, to me, you can't, it's not one or the other. The Pau Gasol trade, I don't think was his finest moment, but the Zach Randolph acquisition was a great one. And he believed in Mike Conley, as Pau Gasol has been bloodied by Benga. Mike Conley has improved. They resisted the urge to trade O.J. Mayo at the deadline. They got Shane Battier. Marc Gasol came in the trade for Pau Gasol, and he has been terrific.
You talk about Tony Allen, too.
And Tony Allen was a great free agent signing. They've done a very good job building up a much tougher team than they've had in the past. Sam Young has played very well, as has Darrell Arthur. You can go through the whole roster, and they have a much tougher team right now.
Nobody really wanted to play them in the first round. And again, Memphis did an excellent job against San Antonio during the regular season. So Memphis wins Game 1 on the road.
And give Lionel Hollins a lot of credit too. You know, because he's understated, he doesn't get the credit he deserves for holding that team together when you lose a maximum level player. And obviously the Ginobili injury really hurts San Antonio's ability.
Well, you hit the nail on the head right there. Number one key for playoff success is health. As Gasol, still with some blood coming out, taking the shot from a former teammate. That's a hard chin, TJ Benga. 54 seconds remaining here in the half.
But you look at, you know, one of the interesting things also, if you're going to beat the Lakers, you've got to look to Gasol. That don't mean bloody him, but you got to play with force and be physical and keep him away from the paint area, because he's too skilled that if you make it a finesse game, he's going to be the dominant big man on the floor.
So Gasol will now come out. Little use Theo Ratliff, the veteran, will finish the final 54 seconds. You see against New Orleans, he shot 71%, dominated in the games. Again, they 4-0. They swept them. 2 games were close, 2 games were not. Right now, the Hornets with a 10-point lead. Chris Paul has been magnificent. Landry calling for it. Joe Smith's out there. Theo Ratliff. Ariza off the mark. Landry trying to get it. And Ratliff comes up with it. Hornets thought he got held.
And I'm going to double Kobe Bryant in this situation and make it go to Joe Smith or Theo Ratliff.
Bryant gets away from Landry. Falling away. 2 guys on him, and he knocks it down. Kobe Bryant. Difficult shot. He's still down the other end. 5-on-4. Paul a 3. Puts it in. Chris Paul knocks it down. And Kobe Bryant still down on the floor as the half. Oh, he puts it in at the buzzer. The 3-pointer, it counts. Everybody was looking at Bryant still down on the floor. What a wild finish to the first half. And quickly the Laker personnel out to attend to Bryant. Again, it happened in the corner after the shot. He hit a difficult shot falling away, then went down and did not get up.
Oh, he slid into the back of that guy's knee.
Yep, that's where it was. Right back into the courtside seat and hit the back of his head or his neck perhaps. And then just stayed down, which is, you know, it's hurting. He's as tough as they come. And then Paul comes down, hits the three-pointer, and then the Lakers hit the three-pointer at the buzzer on a heave-ho to end the half. We've got the T-Mobile halftime report coming up. And again, they'll talk about the Grizzlies shocking the Spurs. Some first half reaction. We'll get an update as well on Kobe Bryant, who appears to be okay now. But at the story in New Orleans, an 8-point lead. Chris Paul, 11 points, 10 assists here the first half of game one. Slowly walking out of the Laker locker room, but apparently he's okay and will be on the floor to start the third period. As he hurt himself right at the end of the second quarter. Let's get an update from Lisa Salters.
Hey, Mike. Well, as you said, as Kobe was coming out of the locker room, a lot of guys will always tell you, I'm fine, I'm okay. He didn't say that. He just kind of grimaced a little bit and grabbed his neck when I asked him how he was doing. And I said, are you sore? And he just said, ugh. So it leads me to believe that he's still in considerable pain. We're being told that he actually hit the back of his neck, hit an empty chair. And the Lakers are right now calling it a bruised neck. They said that he did not have any x-rays or anything like that. The training staff, Gary Beatty, along with their physical therapist, Judy Cito, they worked on him. Gary Beatty told me, he says he's pretty sore, but he can move around a little bit, so he's going to play. Mike?
All right, Lisa, that was one problem for the Lakers in the first half. The other big problem was Chris Paul and the Hornets. Boy, what a great first half, and our Gatorade Cooler Talk is all about Chris Paul. He was remarkable in those first two quarters.
Well, absolutely. It's CP3 that's been a pain in the neck to the Lakers defense. You're talking about a guy that had a spectacular first half. Outstanding reads, double pick and roll, comes off of it. Doesn't get a good look, gets a second pick and roll. Avoids it, goes away. No help, able to get to his spot and finish. And I tell you what, he's my #1 pick in the dodgeball league. Outstanding read, puts it on point and finishes. And continuing to score. Pressure. Talk about vision, the no-look lay. Sends the defense one way, able to get his look. A spectacular first half by Chris Paul.
Well, he led the NBA in assists per turnovers. The ratio in the regular season, he had 10 assists, 1 turnover in that first half. In fact, the Hornets, and they're one of the better teams in this department, they had 2 turnovers the entire first half. One of the reasons they're up by 8. Bellinelli. Good defense there from Gasol. Ariza. And Bynum the rebound.
You're the Lakers. You got to get better play from Pau Gasol. Right now, it's the Hornets' big guys is being very physical with him. He's got to do a better job scoring and rebounding the basketball.
And again, with Okafor having all sorts of foul problems, not a big front line for New Orleans. Gasol misses a 3, and the ball goes out of bounds. Hornets ball. Our Michelin first half stats. What sticks out, Jeff? The 59% shooting's pretty darn good.
Yeah, that absolutely sticks out. And even though New Orleans is out-rebounded, I really like the physicality for the Hornets in the first half with their front line.
Bynum his second block. He was 6th in the NBA during the regular season in block shots. Fisher. That's good. A 2-pointer for Derek Fisher.
And if you're the Hornets, don't give up possessions. The first 2 possessions of this half, they go into the post Okafor. That's not how you're going to win this game. You're not tricking anybody. Get back to pick and roll basketball.
Bellinelli misses an open jumper. Bryant slices through, kicks it out for Artest. Gasol, huge height advantage. Wants it against Ariza. Little lefty hook shot. A little too strong. And here comes Chris Paul. Paul runs into Fisher and a blocking foul on Fisher, who's upset. Fisher draws charges with the best of them, third in the NBA in that department this year, picks up his second foul.
And even how smart Chris Paul is, he's actually an active shooter. He does a good job of selling the shot, but doesn't get the call.
I thought that was a charge. And please, don't be begging for the shot, too. That was a good play by Derek Fisher, even though the call went against him. To read that, that's a very difficult play against one of the premier point guards in transition.
Paul. Okafor. Got to keep it alive, and Kobe Bryant tracks it down. Bryant lost the handle, gets to Bynum down the lane, foul, and one! Landry tried to stop him, and Bynum just too strong, and a chance for a three-point play.
Carl Landry has done some really good things offensively, but he has not rebounded the ball, and he's had a hard time in that painted area. Defending. He's going to have to stand firmer defensively and on the board for them to be able to play well enough in the second half to get this win.
And Bynum now 11 points, 8 rebounds, 2 block shots. Hyperextended that knee last week. There was concern, but the MRI showed just a bone bruise. Had a couple of good practices and looked sharp here to start the third. Lakers within 3. Fisher almost with the steal, and it's still New Orleans ball.
I love Fisher's competitive spirit. You know, he runs through screens. He competes hard. He doesn't have a quickness advantage, but I'll tell you what, no one ever has a will advantage on Derek Fisher.
36 years old. They lost it, going the other way. You know, Derek, we talk about guys, some of these guys today playing in their first playoff series. He's won 33 playoff series.
I just love these type of plays. This is consistent. This is who he is. The jump shot may come and go. You know, he didn't have a great year shooting the ball, but you know you're always going to get a competitive spirit.
And some words, Gasol and Ariza, former teammates. And Chris Paul making sure Ariza gets out of the way. Let's see if we have a double technical foul. Gary Zielinski talking to the players right now. He spotted it from the sideline, quickly ran over to break it up. A flagrant foul on Ariza. Gasol setting the screen. Ariza threw a little shot at him. So it's 2 shots, and then the Lakers retain possession. Gasol hits it. Trevor Ariza with a lot of big shots at 48% three-point shooting back in the 2009 title run for the Lakers. Then left the next year, went to Houston. And now a member of the Hornets as we check in with Lisa Salters.
Hey, Mike, you notice that Pau Gasol is sporting a bandage underneath that left eye. He got that injury in the first quarter. You saw knocking heads there. We're told that he did not get stitches at halftime, but he will get them after the game.
And he got a couple of free throws there. Bringing the Lakers within 1. A 7-0 start here in the third. Bellinelli pokes it away. Still Laker ball.
No, I wonder what the difference was with Ariza running through that screen as the way Fisher runs through screens. It's very similar. You're trying to drive through a screen.
There's a foul, but not a flagrant. Bynum inside, flips it up. Doesn't get the roll. Landry gets that rebound. And the Hornets come the other way. Monty Williams calls out a play. Paul on a pull-up. Short. Okafor couldn't get it. Paul takes it away from Kobe Bryant. That's his 4th steal of the game. Fires a 3. Puts it in. Chris Paul once again. And New Orleans back up by 4.
Great job by Chris Paul picking up full court and then reading Kobe Bryant picking his pocket and knocks down the jumper. I tell you what, if you're Emeka Okafor, you got to be careful setting those screens with Derek Fisher because it's getting awfully close to a foul on Okafor.
But if he doesn't set him with that strength, then you're not going to get the separation that Paul needs to create plays.
Pull-up jumper short. Here goes Ariza. Hornets have the numbers if they push. Finds Trevor Ariza. Inside, misses. Right there, Landry. The Lakers slow getting back on that transition.
Poor transition defense, and the bigs not running the floor. Great job by the Hornets, forcing the issue.
Lakers have made a few runs. Hornets have responded each time. Artest way off the mark. Paul again looking to push. Splits the defenders. Flips it up. Won't go, and Gasol the rebound. Derek Fisher the drive. Spins. Fisher the foul. Fisher fired up as he took a hit, and he'll walk right to the free throw line. Landry's third foul.
Bryant gets the ball here, and Paul jumps to the weak side, picks his pocket. Nobody goes to the body of Chris Paul, not recognizing. Simple knockdown jump shot. Stops the bleeding and stops a Laker run.
Paul is putting on a show. We saw Derrick Rose just have a brilliant performance yesterday. Paul on the verge, putting one together as well.
There was a point in this season where he just wasn't healthy, and he wasn't his old self. And it looked like, would he ever get it back? And certainly looking at him today and looking at him during the course of the year, he is an elite player in this league, not just a point guard, elite player.
He had the surgery last February of 2010. Ariza backs up. Crossover move. Pulls back. Bank shot. In and out. And Fisher the rebound. Ariza just 2 of 12 from the field.
But they're asking him to do some things that aren't his strength, which is play pick and roll and create off the dribble as the clock winds down. That's a tough thing for him.
Fisher drives, trying to draw some contact. Lost the rebound. Paul picks it up. Fisher and Paul are really going at it. This team starting to get a little extra chippy. Fisher and Okafor again get entangled a bit. Ariza drives. Pass inside. Okafor finishes, and a foul. Or Landry, excuse me, is Landry with a chance for a three-point play. That was a difficult shot.
Extra pass. Tough shot. Hangs in the air, takes the contact. And I'm watching this Hornets bench. And you've got to love the enthusiasm of their bench. You understand you're shorthanded. Nobody expects you to win. But if you're going to do it, you're going to do it collectively.
Landry played his college ball at Purdue, was a second-round pick at Seattle. Didn't play for them. Was Wright traded to Houston. Played for Houston again. He played against the Lakers a few years ago in the playoffs. And sent to Sacramento, and now New Orleans, acquired back in February.
New Orleans back in their little 2-3 matchup.
Bryant. Paul trying to draw the foul. Bryant knocks down the shot. He has 18.
I love how they're giving nobody any flops today. Stand up and guard, or you're not going to get a call.
Past the midway point, third quarter. In a hotly contested game. Paul completes the pass to Lamar Odom, who wants to shoot the three. Only the third turnover for the New Orleans Hornets.
Paul does a good job trying to stay in front of Bryant. Tries to draw the charge. Good balance by Bryant. Knocks it in. Hornets up 6. Kobe has 18.
Point lead over the Lakers. They lost all 4 in the regular season to the Lakers, but what a performance so far today, Mark.
Just outworking the Laker bigs. Take a look here. Rebound the basketball. Everybody's in position. You see Landry. What does he see ahead of him? We're going all access, baby. He sees a wide open lane. Runs the floor. Gets an uncontested dunk. Once again, bigs underneath. Who wants it more? Rebound the basketball. Off to the races. Take a look at Gray. Outworks Pau Gasol, gets in position, steals, and finish. That is absolute horrid transition defense. Again, rebound the basketball. Look at Landry. And take a look at the Laker bigs. Looking like they just hit a home run. They're in a trot. That's unacceptable. That's bad defense, but give the Hornets credit. Discipline and winding up, getting rewarded.
Bynum and Gasol are running the floor today like they have pianos on their backs. You have to sprint. You know, sometimes a trot as Odom scores is good enough, but they are in the habit of consistently being in a lope versus a sprint.
Odom shot cuts it to 4. Odom quiet so far this afternoon. Landry has played well offensively. Not that time. Misses. Ball knocked loose. Fisher trying to save it, and does.
But Lamar Odom's a better matchup for Carl Landry than Gasol is.
Odom lost it off his leg. Good defense from Landry that time, although Odom, I think, thought he got fouled.
It shows you the versatility of Odom also, because you can put him in the game. You're not that much smaller, but you're better equipped to defend in transition.
Nice feed. Okafor the finish. 11 assists now for Chris Paul. Emeka Okafor was in foul trouble most of the first half. He only played 9 minutes, playing with 3 personals. Bryant up and under. How does he put these shots in? They defended him beautifully on that.
I love the non-call right there. I thought that was well officiated and an incredible shot.
Look at Fisher trying to front Okafor. Bellinelli from way outside a brick.
That's a bad shot. If you have Derek Fisher trying to defend Okafor, you got to swing the basketball and take advantage of that matchup.
Gasol sees the double team, kicks it out. Bryant, little stutter move, nails it. 2-point game. Timeout, New Orleans. 22 for Kobe Bryant.
Kobe Bryant, well defended by Trevor Ariza, finds a way to step through a miracle shot, and then they help on Pau Gasol's post-up. He takes advantage of Ariza's closeout. Good hesitation dribble. The pull-up jumper. The net is fine.
ESPN's presentation of the NBA playoffs on ABC. Brought to you by Toyota and KFC. Today is a KFC day, and today tastes so good.
Fortune and privilege makes you more sensitive about people that are not as fortunate. You know, the world is just really big, and there's a lot of people, and they're in need of help. They're in need of people that care about them. That's why you have to be proactive and make sure you make a difference. To me, it's really special to be in that position.
Back in game 1, Lakers down by 2. Pau Gasol, who's made all the difference since coming to LA and just dominated New Orleans during the regular season, having a rough outing so far this afternoon.
If I'm him, I listen to the promo. I got to begin to be proactive. Right now is the Hornets bigs that's taking him out of this game.
Landry. Okafor tips it out. Paul lost it momentarily. Paul and Fisher having themselves a little personal battle out there. Ball looking, gets it inside. Landry defended well by Gasol. Oldham trying to save it. Ball still loose. Fisher. Boy, that's a problem area. If you're a fan sitting courtside, players crashing all over the place in that section.
And you've seen the length of the Lakers impact Landry on the last couple plays, where he's had a struggle. He's had good looks, but it's the length that makes the shot difficult. Here he's got a great cut, good pass by Paul, but good rotation by Gasol.
How much you pay a couple of grand for your playoff seats to sit baseline, and you're in danger. Players going all out. Ariza gets inside, can't finish. And here comes Bryant. Coming up on 3 minutes to go in the third. Bryant gets past, foul on Landry. And more free throws for the Lakers. They've taken 23 already to 11 for New Orleans.
And a smart play by Chris Paul. Nobody will recognize it, but as the whistle is blown, Kobe Bryant does not put the ball back down, is in position for a three-point play. Chris Paul fouls him again, not allowing him to get off a good one.
It's 4 fouls on Landry.
So he should shoot 4 free throws. You can't be double fouled.
Our NBA playoff calendar, TNT tonight, 2 great games. Knicks and Celtics from Boston, Nuggets and Thunder from Oklahoma City. Then NBA TV Tuesday, Atlanta and Orlando, game 2 of that series. Meanwhile, ESPN Friday, doubleheader games 3, Celtics and Knicks, Hornets and Lakers. And then ABC next Sunday, it'll be the Celtics and the Knicks game 4. That's one of the series everybody's talking about, Celtics and the Knicks. Knicks have any chance to upset them, guys?
To me, they have a shooter's chance, but I don't think they have a chance because defensively, the Celtics will take them out, and the Knicks really not locked in defensively. So I think ultimately the experience and the defensive intensity of the Celtics will win out.
Jason Smith knocks down the shot, comes off the bench and quickly hits it. Smith, the third-year player out of Colorado State. Played for Philadelphia his first couple of years.
Didn't you say guys? Didn't you ask for both round opinions?
Well, he was waiting for the play to finish.
Oh, okay.
Jeff?
I think the Knicks can make it a struggle, and if you put out the talent of, as it goes off Brian said, if you can put the talent out of Carmelo Anthony, Stoudemire, Billups, Tony Douglas, you have a legitimate chance to make it a difficult series. And yet I don't count out the Celtics, but the injury to O'Neal, I think, makes it more of a challenge, obviously, because I just don't see that they fit as well as they did.
Smith way off on that one. New Orleans by 2, under 2 minutes remaining here in the third. Bryant barrels. He got fouled before, perhaps committing an offensive foul. As Ariza picks up his second foul. Hornets in the penalty.
And here's what you don't want to do. You don't want to continue to send the Lakers to the foul line because they score even though they're struggling. They get to the line and creep ahead in this ball game. Make them work without fouling.
Kobe Bryant this year in the regular season 5th in the NBA in scoring. He became the league's 6th all-time scorer. And he comes into these playoffs 4th all-time in playoff points. And probably by the end of this postseason will be 3rd.
And I think Monty Williams is going to have a very challenging decision. Do you take Chris Paul out to start the 4th? Take him out now to get him a little rest, or do you just let him play all the way through? Because you're within striking distance, and it can turn quickly.
And the series can turn if they could pull off a victory. They don't play game 2 until Wednesday.
That's why I'm on Monty Williams. I don't give him rest. I give him rest by timeouts or TV timeout.
Oh, a beautiful move there. 16 points, 11 assists, 4 steals, throw in 6 rebounds. Chris Paul has done it all. And Okafor, boy, it's been a tough afternoon. 4 fouls for Okafor in 20 minutes.
This is why you keep him on the floor. He puts so much pressure on the Lakers defense. The ability to create his own shot via pick and roll. Loves to go away from the screen. And that's the responsibility of the weak side defense to come over and help before Paul is able to get a good look.
You forget sometimes when a star player doesn't get in the postseason, and he wasn't in last year, just how good they can be. And again, his knee injury slowed him down a bit. And he wasn't as explosive this year. Certainly had an all-star season, but not as good as he's been. A few years ago, he was second in the voting for MVP. He has been sensational here so far in Game 1.
If they're going to continue to run this steady diet of pick and rolls with Bryant, you might see New Orleans go back and play a little bit more zone like they did on a few possessions to try to negate the pick and roll game of Kobe Bryant.
Bryant hits another free throw.
Well, and especially with the lineup that's on the floor for the Lakers, I don't think the big concern is their ability to shoot you out when you're playing the zone.
Lakers back within 1. They've trailed by as many as 12. They briefly had a lead in the first half. So the Hornets have led most of this game. Gasol on Paul. Gets past him quickly. Inside to Gray. Nice finish. Another beautiful play from Chris Paul.
Great reads. And what I don't understand is the Lakers switching pick and rolls. There's no way in the world you're going to switch a pick and roll and put Pau Gasol on Chris Paul. Chris Paul does a great job saying everybody out of my way, and he makes a play.
Gray 4 for 4 from the field. He got some beautiful passes from his floor general. Final minute, third quarter. Shannon Brown steps back. That's a jumper. Lakers getting a little help from their bench there. They're without Steve Blake. Blake, if you hadn't heard, contracted chicken pox. Figure a week or two to be out, so they miss Steve Blake.
See what the Lakers do here. Put Ron Artest on Chris Paul, hoping that his strength can make a difference.
Willie Green off the dribble. Green drives hard. Oh, nice finish over Pau Gasol.
And they should have time to get another possession as well.
Brown on the drive. Reverse. Pretty play. Shannon Brown. Always capable of a highlight move. Shot clock turned off as we wind down the third. And Artest and the Lakers had a foul to give. Paul tried to throw it up to get in the act of shooting call.
Shannon Brown showing that athleticism, the ability to move and use the basket as a shield. I don't like that foul by Ron Artest. Should have waited until Chris Paul began to make his move.
Reaches in there. I don't know what he was doing there. So now Paul will go to the free throw line.
Just not a smart play. Not a smart play at all. You've got to trust the help behind you. And I don't think in this situation Ron Artest is a good matchup against Chris Paul because he's not going to allow him to use that strength. He's going to keep him at bay with his quickness and his ability to handle a basket.
And free throw shooting has been awful for New Orleans as Artest will sit down. Five of 12, make it 5 of 13, and Paul's an excellent free throw shooter. Green for 3. And the third quarter comes to an end. The Hornets will take a lead going into the fourth. And the key reason, the brilliant play of one of the best point guards in the game, Chris Paul, 16 points, 13 assists, throw in 4 steals. Kobe Bryant leading all scorers with 27. We'll be back after this message and a word from our ABC stations.
Just to slow him down and not allow him to dictate.
Well, we have to help. Bigs have to help much better than we're helping right now.
And so far, their bigs have really kept Pau Gasol out of this game. What does he have to do differently?
Shoot the ball. He's got to get some touches and shoot the ball.
All right, Lisa Gasol just 6 points, 1 of 7 from the field. Meanwhile, Chris Paul, that's what Phil Jackson said. The key to the series is how they would control him. They have not controlled him at all. He has been superb. Jarrett Jack back in, so Paul getting his rest here.
And with Blake's illness, you see where it extends Derek Fisher's minutes.
Jason Smith in and out, Bynum the rebound. And the Hornets playing without David West, their leading scorer. Didn't have him the last 10 games of the regular season with the knee injury. He's done for the year. The other team, the rest of the players have picked up the slack here this afternoon. Smith the rebound. Jason Smith, Aaron Gray, Jared Jack, Trevor Ariza, and Willie Green. Jack draws the foul on Brown, disagrees with the call, and Jack will go to the line.
That's one thing that the Hornets have done. They've upgraded their backup point guard position. Jared Jack is a guy that had an outstanding season in Toronto. Really showed he was more than capable of being a starting point guard in this league. And now you can legitimately give Chris Paul rest as you take a look at certainly some contact by Shannon Brown, the veteran move by Jared Jack, getting it up.
Jack they obtained in that trade from Toronto back in November. Jack's first playoff game. This is his 6th year in the league and never been to the postseason. He also, during the regular season, he had the rare feat. He played in 83 games in the regular season. Sometimes happen when a guy gets traded mid-year. Mark, you did that one time.
I was going to tell you, but I figured you already were sitting on it.
Bynum the jump shot.
Has anyone ever played 84?
I would bet yes. I don't know for certain.
Well, that's what we hired Dave Freed, our statistician, for. We should have this answer pronto.
Jack splits the defenders, flips it up, top shot, gets it to go. Jared Jack 4 for 4. The most games in one season, 88. Walt Bellamy with New York and Detroit back in 68-69. Barnes poked away, picked up by Smith. Jack again the drive. Nice feed. Willie Green puts it in and a foul. Jared Jack, excellent job here to start the 4th while Paul rests. And New Orleans lead is up to 5.
Most teams spot a guy up on baseline penetration in the corner. But if you watch Willie Green, he starts in the corner. He circles through the elbow to get a more attacking game going than just the spot up 3. Great cut, great delivery by Jack. And this free throw shooting is beyond horrible.
7 for 16. They've got a 5-point lead. They should be up by double figures. Meanwhile, Jared Jack is again his first playoff game. He's got 11 points in 12 minutes, add 4 assists and 3 rebounds.
Have you ever seen a perimeter player airball a free throw?
You want Dave Freed to check that also?
He doesn't have that in his game.
Just over 2 minutes gone by here in the 4th. Hornets by 5. Fisher off. Oh, Shannon Brown flying in with the follow. We said it earlier. He's a highlight waiting to happen. Gray banks it in and a foul. Odd-looking shot, and Gray is now 5 for 5 from the field. And a timeout call by Phil Jackson. Aaron Gray playing with the foul trouble. The Mecca Okafor has made the most of his opportunity.
This is bad defense by the Lakers. Great offense by the Hornets, picking them apart. Gray comes up with a big-time hoop.
Thanks for watching ESPN on ABC, home of the NBA Finals.
They roll into yours as we welcome you back. Staples Center in Los Angeles. And the Lakers having a tough time against a team they beat 4 straight in the regular season. They trail by 5.
Big story is the bench, plus 17 the game. Willie Green, dribble penetration, getting into the seam. Jared Jack splits the pick and roll, another teardrop. Again, the vision. Green gets to his spot, gets it off. Outworking the bigs and the entire unit. Gray, the ability to catch and finish. Awfully phenomenal what the bench has done for the Hornets.
Aaron Gray, his season high during the regular season was 10. He's already surpassed that. Gray's in his first full season with New Orleans. I spoke earlier. He was acquired last year from Chicago. This is his first full year. He's played 41 games this season. Does a solid job as a backup, but playing great basketball here today. Averages 3 points a game during the regular season and has 12 this afternoon. Brown inside, knocked away.
Aaron Gray's more talented than his career has shown so far. He's got to ask himself, if I can catch and score and have a big body, why have I not achieved more?
Willie Green gets past Kobe Bryant. Difficult shot, he puts it in. Willie Green off the bench. An excellent job. He's got 8 points, and the lead is 8 with 8.5 to play.
You know, sometimes you lose a game against a team you're superior to by letting them hang around and gain confidence.
Kobe Bryant quickly answers. 29. Lakers so tough at home, especially in the postseason. Last 3 playoffs, 31-4 at home. But in some trouble right now, although still plenty of time. Jack gets inside, trying to draw the foul, and he does on Bynum. 4 on Bynum. Monty Williams likes the way his bench is playing. Well, ESPN's coverage of Major League Baseball continues Sunday and Monday night, first at 8 Eastern. On Sunday Night Baseball, Rangers and the Yankees from the Bronx. Then on Monday Night Baseball, Brewers head to Philadelphia, face the Phillies. Major League Baseball on ESPN Sunday and Monday night.
And you see Monty Williams going small, so he has Jack, Green, and Chris Paul in the game at the same time. And it shows you how much they miss David West, because if you add him to this mix, you have a legitimate knockdown, jump shooting big man that stretches the floor even more.
Jack, this is his 4th team that he's played for in his NBA career. Portland, Indiana, Toronto, and now with the Hornets. What a job he's done here in Game 1. 12 points and 6 assists. Fisher, Odom. Artest wants it. Shot clock at 6. Artest, difficult shot, he banks it in.
And that's going to be key, because if Ron Artest can do that on the other end, it will force Monty Williams to put in a legitimate small forward. If he can get away with playing smaller guys against Ron Artest, it's to their advantage on the offensive end.
Ball gets it out to Jack, right corner, Willie Green. Good closeout from Fisher. Green had to put her on the floor.
I would not overreact to Ron Artest scoring in the post.
And a foul on the entry pass. First team foul. And Green's second. A big number in this game. One of the reasons why the Hornets up by 6. They've turned it over just 3 times the whole game. They're 3rd in the NBA in that department during the regular season. Fewest turnovers. Bryant. Nice turnaround. Back to 4. He's got 31.
And conversely, I would overreact when he has the basketball on the block. You got to look to hit him, double team, and force him to get rid of the basketball.
Well, there's the react. Trevor Ariza is going to come in to guard him. Paul trying to draw a foul, and he does.
He is absolutely the best at holding his dribble to draw fouls.
3 on Fisher, and they are in the penalty with 6:48 remaining.
You see Kobe Bryant on the other end. You cannot leave Willie Green on an island to defend Kobe Bryant in this situation. At some point, Monty Williams will look to double team Bryant and get the ball out of his hands.
Well, Paul missed his first 2 free throws. Hits that one.
And you watch Paul come off, just holding his dribble there right as he comes off to force the contact. And that's very difficult to try to defend, because he uses the screen so well, you can't work your way back in front.
Hornets now 11 of 20 from the free throw line. They lead by 6 with just over 6.5 remaining.
And they've gone back to that 2-3 zone, making it look like as a man, but it's really a zone.
Bryant gets a 3. Kobe Bryant knocking him down. It's a 3-point game.
Talking to Monty Williams before the game, he said there's going to come a point where I'm going to get the ball out of Bryant's hands. You don't want to wait too long. He said it's proven that he can beat you by himself.
Nice feed inside. Bryant blocked it, but also commits the foul. That's his first, and Landry will shoot free throws.
No, this is good offense. Ball movement. You got to close out to his body and trust the help behind you. A big-time shot by Bryant. Contest too late, doesn't even see you in the picture.
Crowd saw the replay. He liked the shot. He didn't like the foul call. Crowd thought it was a clean block. Landry able to knock that one down. 14 points for Landry. Landry, the man getting the starting spot with the injury to West. He played well down the stretch after West got hurt. Averaged a decent number. About 15 a game, shot over 50% starting those games. Hits a pair here. Ariza now on Bryant. Bryant drives, falling away. Artest rushed it, gets it back again, and draws the foul.
See, and that's the problem. When you double team Bryant and he still gets the shot off, all you've done is open yourself up to second shots. You cannot beat the Lakers unless you can secure the ball.
ESPN's presentation of the NBA playoffs on ABC, brought to you by BBVA Compass. Teamwork works at BBVA Compass and the NBA. Learn how at BBVACompass.com. And the U.S. Postal Service.
First at 7 Eastern. Paul Pierson at Celtics against Carmelo Anthony and the Knicks at Madison Square Garden. Then at 8 Eastern, ESPN2, it's the Magic and the Hawks at 9:30 Eastern on ESPN. The Lakers and the Hornets, game 3 of that series. The NBA playoffs on ESPN and ESPN2. Meanwhile, Kobe Bryant here on ABC today.
Well, just a mistimed double team, and then Willie Green is just too small in the post. They played zone. Jared Jack gave him a little bit too much airspace. And the real problem is, once you try to get the ball out of his hands with a double team, you better make him pass, because if you don't, you're outnumbered and outsized on the offensive board. That miss leads to a Ron Artest second shot and to the foul.
It was Okafor's 5th foul, so Aaron Gray back in. Artest, double-double, 10 points and 11 rebounds for Artest.
But I would really be committed to double teaming him and continuing to get the ball out of his hands. And you've got to be disciplined enough to have your small guys involved in the paint area too, rebounding the basketball.
And now they have Kobe Bryant guarding Chris Paul.
Former Olympic teammates back in 08 when they won the gold medal in Beijing. Good help defense from Odom. Jack on the drive. Jack kicks it out. Landry wide open. Fisher the rebound.
You see, if that's David West, that's a knockdown jump shot. So if you're the Lakers, you're willing to live with Carl Landry's mid-range game.
Bryant falling away. In and out. That one halfway down. Paul with 18 points, 13 assists. 5 minutes remain.
And if I'm Chris Paul, everybody out of my way. I'm going to make a play if Pau Gasol is going to defend.
Paul pulls up, jump shot. That's good. 20 points for Paul. Hornets back up by 5.
I mean, where in the game plan does it tell you that Pau Gasol can defend Chris Paul one-on-one? It's not going to happen.
Bryant drives, stops left-handed, and can't get it to fall. Landry, tough rebound in traffic.
I don't think it is in the scouting report to answer your question. And B, that's a great traffic rebound by Landry.
Paul again, knocks it down. Back-to-back jumpers for Paul. The lead is up to 7, and the Lakers call timeout.
But obviously, it is in the scouting report, or somebody's doing something wrong, because time and time again, Pau Gasol is left defending Chris Paul. And Paul says, may I have this dance? Breaks him down the excuse me hand space, knocks down the jump shot. Once again, one-on-one. Paul takes advantage of Powell. 22 points and 13 dimes. It's the CP3 show. Mama, there goes that man.
Eastern. On Sunday Night Baseball, Rangers and Yankees from the Bronx. Then on Monday Night Baseball, Brewers and Phillies from Philadelphia. Major League Baseball on ESPN Sunday and Monday night. Here this afternoon, second day of the 2011 playoffs. Chris Paul putting on a show, Mark.
And you look at the switch pick and roll. Now Pau Gasol has Paul, and Derek Fisher does his job. Now at this point, he gives it up. Get back to Chris Paul. Pau Gasol, get back to your man. The Lakers lackadaisical defensively. They're content with allowing Paul to be defended by Powell, and then Paul having his way. It cannot happen. You're doing the Hornets a favor by switching and leaving Gasol on Paul.
7-point game, still plenty of time, but the Hornets have withstood every rally by the Lakers. Gray in there with Okafor in foul trouble. Gray has played very well. Gasol, the shot won't go. Rebound Paul, who's got 7 rebounds along with everything else.
Somebody needs to put out an APB on Pau Gasol.
1 for 8, Mark.
He's not here this afternoon, and it's hurting this Laker team.
Paul gets inside, in and out. Gasol able to grab that rebound. That one halfway down. Bryant the drive, kicks it out. Artest for 3. It's good. Huge 3 for Ron Artest, and it's a 4-point game.
And you see that time, Coach, they trapped Kobe Bryant and forced him to get rid of the basketball. That's the game plan. Be dedicated to it and live with Ron Artest making that shot.
Artest has 7 of his 14 here in the fourth. Crowd back in the game. They've been quiet much of the afternoon. 3 on the shot clock, and Paul draws the foul on Fisher. 4 fouls on Fisher. Lakers in the penalty. 2 free throws for New Orleans.
Well, Chris Paul is just so good that he's going to use your aggressiveness against you. And if you're Derek Fisher, you should recognize it because you've done it time and time again. You got to trust the help behind you when you're defending Chris Paul. So there's clearly contact.
Yeah, but the question is, was he in a legal guarding position? He didn't move.
Odom poked away from behind. Gasol had it, lost it. Artest picks it up and draws the foul. Monty Williams now not happy at this end. Now Ron Artest will get back to the line.
And if you want to win, you got to come up with that loose ball. That ball was right there.
Huge free throws. 3 minutes remaining. 6-point game. Landry picks up his 5th foul. Bynum set to check back in for the Lakers. And Artest having an excellent 4th quarter.
And it's not often that you take an all-star player off the floor in the last 3 minutes of a close game. But I think this is the right move for the Lakers. Phil Jackson substituting Andrew Bynum. Jackson substituting Andrew Bynum for Gasol, keeping Lamar Odom on the floor. And it's that depth that the Lakers have that gives them the advantage.
Artest, the last 7 Laker points under 3 minutes remaining. Paul sets it up. 24 points, 13 assists. Kicks it out, Jack for 3. And he'll jump it up.
That's a good job by Ron Artest, chasing down Jarrett Jack and giving legitimate effort to contest the shot.
Any 2 will jump at center court now.
And I'm not really sure. I think they should put Paul back in the pick and roll game versus the isolation game.
Laker fans trying to fire up their team to avoid what would be a huge upset. And Gray wins the tip.
It's not a black and white world, Mike. It's a gray world.
You've been holding that one for a while.
No, it's true. He's played great basketball. He just got him an extra possession.
Paul finding Jared Jack, leans in, tough shot, banks it in. Difficult attempt. And Jared Jack off the bench. 16 points in 20 minutes. Ball knocked away. Ariza dives. Can't come up with it. Bryant now has the ball.
That's a backcourt violation.
That's what Monty Williams is claiming. Right now, they're saying it's New Orleans ball.
And I don't think it's a backcourt violation. The reason why is because it looked like Trevor Ariza actually deflected the basketball into the backcourt.
It doesn't matter. He can deflect it as long as he doesn't have control of it.
Certainly not a backcourt violation, but great effort by Trevor Ariza.
No, it's an 8-second. I'm sorry. I didn't mean backcourt violation. I meant 8-second violation because he didn't get the ball across the court.
Right.
That's my misspeaking.
Right. The deflection does not stop the 8-second count. So the officials conferring right now with 2:12 remaining. Hornets leading by 6. The ruling right now is that it's New Orleans ball. Lawrence Tanter, the legendary PA guy, ready to give us the announcement. They're saying just on that on-the-court ruling, the ball going out of bounds, New Orleans. Now they announced a backcourt violation. Well, either way, New Orleans is going to call a time. It's their ball. 2:10 remaining here in the fourth. The Hornets, anxious moments for the Laker fans here in Los Angeles. Already the #1 seed has lost at home. Memphis defeating San Antonio earlier today. And now the Lakers right now trailing by 6 with 2:10 remaining. Dallas winning last night. Oklahoma City and Denver later on tonight on TNT. Yeah, this one has been a terrific game led by the Chris Paul show. And the ball is right now New Orleans ball. The ruling was it simply went out of bounds off of Kobe Bryant and the Lakers. Al Gasol, meanwhile, back in, and Bynum sits down.
And I think right now, we saw it on the last possession. The Lakers have to get more aggressive in getting the ball out of Chris Paul's hands earlier versus letting him hold the ball, probe, and keep the ball in his hands.
What Phil Jackson said is he can play at any pace. He had the up-tempo early, now in a slow-down half-court. He's been just as good. Jack falls down, shot clock at 8. Paul drives, bumped by Fisher. Tough shot. It's good. Chris Paul nails it again. He's got 26, and it's an 8-point lead. 10 points here in the fourth quarter. And the Staples Center quiet once again. Bryant trying to rescue the Lakers. Flips it up. That misses. And Ariza the rebound.
The way that Chris Paul is playing, I'm saving my money and looking to sign him a year from now also. My goodness, putting on a clinic.
He has been brilliant. 26 points, 14 assists, 7 rebounds, 4 steals, only 2 turnovers. Shot clock down to 5. Paul, wild shot, draws the foul. And he'll go to the line with 1:16 remaining. And the Hornets leading by 8.
Well, it wasn't a great possession, but this is a great shot. Running the clock down to 4. Well-defended first move by Fisher. The pullback, that's great defense. Unfortunately, better offense by Chris Paul.
And you say not a great possession. I agree with you, but then I disagree. The reason why is because ultimately you put it in his hands to eat clock. You're in a situation where the clock, you want it to dwindle down. So he holds the basketball, and then you got your best player making a play.
The Hornets on the verge of a huge upset, up by 10. Their largest lead of the second half. 1:16 remaining.
And this has been a continuation of a pretty bad month for the Lakers. They haven't played well for a good long period of time.
Bryant gets inside, can't get that as tip misses. Ball knocked away. Landry has it. And the foul with 1:07 remaining, and Aaron Gray is in a lot of pain. Gray holding on to that right ankle. Oh, it's so sad to see that. He's played so well. What a terrific performance. And Gray is hurting. You see Paul quickly over to him, his teammates, and the medical staff as well. 1:07 remaining in the fourth. New Orleans with a 10-point lead, but now concerned over their backup center. His ankle, and he'll be helped back to the locker room. His team up by 10 with 1:07 remaining. Gray has been excellent off the bench, 6 of 6 from the field, a season high 16 points. And there you see him come down. Actually, season high 12 points for Gray. Just banged. Okafor was in foul trouble. He played so well. And that one he really turned.
And that's going to be a big loss going forward for the Hornets. He's played exceptionally well. He gives them a big body, and he has some offensive skill.
So Gray is done. Now the Hornets can put the finishing touches on this, what would be a huge upset at the free throw line. And again, a key stat for New Orleans, and there's plenty of them. They shot 51% from the field. Their defense was excellent, but only 3 turnovers. And that would tie an NBA playoff record for fewest turnovers in a playoff game. That was back in 2008, just a few years ago, Detroit against Orlando. Monty Williams, in his very first playoff game as a head coach, going up against Phil Jackson in his 324th playoff game as a head coach. Williams has done a fabulous job all season long. Landry knocks them both down. Some of the fans have head for the exits. This equals the largest lead of the game. What's so impressive, they've led almost the entire game. Led by 12 in the first half. Lakers did come back and tie it, but they withstood that rally. Lakers went up big again, or the Hornets went up big again here in the second half. Lakers came back within 1. They're not in the penalty yet, as Okafor fouls out.
And what Okafor has to do better on that pick and roll is slide his feet versus try to body him coming off that pick and roll. And without Gray probably for the foreseeable future in this series, it's important that he eliminates the fouls he can eliminate.
59.2 remaining. Okafor just 22 minutes. That's why Gray played 19 minutes. Gasol quick move and finishes that one.
We waited 47 minutes for Pau Gasol to make a quick, aggressive, sharp move. Can't happen if you're the Lakers.
If you're the Lakers, you got to double team or foul.
Paul gets away. Paul flips up the shot, puts it in. Chris Paul putting on the finishing touches of an extraordinary performance here this afternoon. 14 points in the fourth, 30 for the game to go along with 14 assists. Lamar Odom knocks down the 3. 106-97. And Paul will bring it up. Now, this happened to the Lakers in 2009. The second round against Houston, they lost game 1 at home against the Rockets. They wound up winning that series in 7 games on the way to the championship.
And the Lakers, they're a team with extreme confidence, and their mindset is probably, well, I don't see anybody beating us 4 games. Well, this just in. The Hornets don't have to anymore. Now they've got to beat you 3 games. Give credit to Coach Monty Williams. First-year coach. We take a look at Pau Gasol's number. A disappointing afternoon for Pau Gasol. The bottom line is Monty Williams said, hey, people expect me to be nervous. I'm going to be normal. Has led this basketball team and followed his wife's orders. Be disciplined, don't get any technical fouls, and don't blow it.
His wife Ingrid, who he met back when he was a freshman at Notre Dame. Odom, not that time. And the rest of the Western Conference rejoicing. San Antonio, the #1 seed, loses earlier today at home. The Lakers hearing boos here from the Staples Center crowd. They will lose, and it's the first time since the NBA's gone to this current playoff format. That was way back in '83-84. The first time that the #1 and #2 seed have lost game 1. Kobe Bryant had 34. But Phil Jackson's team comes up short, and he said it right from the top. that the key to the series for the Lakers, how well they control Chris Paul. They did not control him at all here this afternoon. Just a remarkable performance from a special player. And this building has gone silent as they head for the exits. What a great performance from New Orleans. Odom knocks that down. Final seconds. And that'll do it. A huge upset here at the Staples Center. The Hornets, who lost all 4 regular season games to the Lakers, behind their special point guard Chris Paul, defeat Kobe Bryant and the Lakers, and they led almost the entire game. The brilliant play of Chris Paul, 33 points, 14 assists, 7 rebounds, 4 steals. And he's right now with Lisa Salters.
Thank you, Mike. Chris, 33 points for you, 14 assists, 17 points in the fourth quarter. Really, what changed for you with your mindset in that fourth quarter?
My coaches and my teammates just told me to be aggressive. Luckily, I was making shots. It's been a tough season for me as far as making shots, but it's the playoffs, man. Teammates looking for me to be aggressive, and I was just trying to find my spot.
So when they say be aggressive, what happens for you? What clicks in?
I don't know. You just got to force the issue sometimes. In the playoffs, there's not as many fouls called. Those guys were aggressive in the ball screens, and I just tried to not give into it.
Describe the impact that your bench had on this game.
Outstanding, outstanding. Willie Green, Jared Jack, and the player of the game to me was Aaron Gray. The difference that he made, I hope he's healthy. We need him. We need him, but he played an outstanding game.
All right, thank you. Congratulations on the win.
Thank you.
Mike?
All right, Lisa, the team with the least playoff experience pulls off the huge upset here in Los Angeles as the Hornets, behind rookie head coach Monty Williams, defeat the Lakers 109-100. For Mark Jackson, Jeff Van Gundy, Lisa Salters, and our entire ABC crew, this is Mike Green saying so long from L.A. Now, except on the West Coast, stay tuned for ABC World News, all your local news over most of these ABC stations. And thanks for watching ABC, home of the NBA Finals.